So, Victor, what would you do if you found out you were the protagonist of a story that someone else was writing?
Boy, I don't know what I would do. I mean, because I'm usually just a chill guy. I usually just stay by myself and just do whatever I want. But if I swear to God, if I ever hear a British lady say exactly what I am doing in my life, I would freak out and I don't know what I would do. I don't know what you would do, but I'd be terrified.
Oh man, I think I would do like literally everything. It would turn into those later parts of Groundhog's Day,
You know, yeah,
which
Groundhog
which we're
Day.
definitely not recording on. That's
Oh,
definitely
yeah,
not the day we're recording this.
definitely not.
For sure. Definitely not. Definitely not.
So what? What if the show gets canceled and you guys never get to do movies or anything like that? Say that.
Yes, bitch! There she is!
They should let children out of school to see this movie. They should show it in school.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
I disagree. I am Iron Man.
There's gonna be consequences and repercussions.
You're gonna have to rock a thong with this. Oh, no, I don't wear thongs. I have a very fussy taint.
Oh, behave.
Welcome back to Not Ready for Popcorn Players podcast, the number one podcast for surprisingly dramatic Will Ferrell roles. My name is Johnny Watson.
And I'm Victor Higgins, and you decide: am I in a comedy or a tragedy?
Oof, yeah, man, this is definitely that type of movie because today we are discussing the 2006 film known only as Stranger Than Fiction. And wow, there is a lot to discuss in this one. A lot to discuss.
Yeah, and it's a movie that for the first time that we have done this so far, it's a movie of my choice, and really just because it's Will Ferrell that you've never seen before. Because, well, as we all know, Will Ferrell is this crazy guy that goes bananas with most things that he does, and this is kind of like a step back, like from him, especially at this point in his career, where he does still have those Will Ferrell moments, but again, shows like a new side of him that I think is really intriguing.
I I was blown away by a lot of elements of this. I've just never I don't even know what to say at some points of this. It's like it's more dramatic than I've ever seen, and it's like he gets to do like some crazy stuff, but it's in the context of drama and like there's a lot going on here. There's a lot going on here. I was not aware that he was capable of any of this.
Yeah, I bet this probably
had a like, huh?
I was gonna say, I bet this is probably like a big surprise of people because this was in '06, and I'm not sure if he had done anything even slightly dramatic at this point. So I bet this was like, oh wow. I wonder if this is kind of the same way people thought like of Jim Carrey with Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, of how like this young comedic actor always doing these this comedic actor always doing these comedy films, and now suddenly going to this dramatic film and doing an excellent job. And I also kind of wondered that with like Robin Williams with maybe Good Will Hunting, and maybe Adam Sandler with a future project Reign Over Me with Don Cheadle. And yeah, it's like it's an interesting movie, and I really like it. I really like it.
Yeah, it's I don't know if I think I'm still thrown off by it so much that I can't even tell if I like it or don't like it at this point because it's so surprising to me that this is even a thing. Because like when you first told me about this movie, I think it said something about a romantic comedy. I'm like, oh, he's gonna be in a goofy, silly thing. And then when I saw Maggie in it, I was like, oh, okay, she's gonna be the goofy love interest that eventually. But then I started looking at it and saw the whole movie, and it was like, oh, this is a much deeper, more like serious movie than because like by the end of this, I'm like, this is like a full-on moral dilemma. Like this is a real thing that some people would be like debating for years and years. If this was a more popular movie, if this was a movie that came out post 2017, 18, when social media was like really grown and people started making like this movie's ending explained types of videos and things like that, this would be everywhere. There would be like whole hour worth of videos on this movie. It's like that kind of movie. And it also made me think of, as we'll get into later, it made me think of, have you seen that recent show came out end of last year, Pluribus?
I have not. No, I am familiar with it though. Yes.
Yeah, it was an Apple TV show. It comes out and it starts to ask like all these moral dilemmas of like, would you do this to sacrifice this, or would this be created for this? And that's what it starts to get into at the end of the movie. But we'll get to that point later.
Yeah, and as usual at the start of these, let me give you a little SNL background of who our main lead is. So Will Ferrell, big name of SNL, came after a weird time of the show, after the big 20th infamous season, and then suddenly brought him in with Sherry O'Terry, Daryl Hammond, and he was probably an immediate star. Actually, no, was an immediate star right from the get-go. I was on for 7 amazing seasons, and just did a lot. And a question for you, Johnny. There's a lot of Will Ferrell sketches, but what would you say is the most underrated sketch from Will Ferrell's SNL tenure? That's the first favorite of yours.
Most underrated is a very tough one.
Because I would personally say the Evil Boss sketch he did with Pierce Brosnan, where he's he stabs Chris Parnell over and over again, and he just says like these very cool things to like I believe Tina Fey, Rachel Dratch, Jerry Minor, season 26 cast member, went on for that season, and it's just so amazing. And I saw one comment on the YouTube video of it say like this is the version of The Office they wanted, because Will Ferrell appeared on The Office, and he
did end up getting on The Office, but only in like a small recurring role.
Yeah, they kind of said like this is the version of the Office character he played that they wanted, which I thought was a very funny comment. But like, anything you would say or no?
One that definitely comes to mind is when he plays the drill sergeant. Have you seen that one? He plays the drill sergeant when he's just saying absolutely. It's sort of like the roasting scene in Full Metal Jacket, but he's going crazier. Remember, at one point he keeps poking Tim Meadows with the hat over and over and over again to try to get him to break. And
and I'll throw another one out there.
Yeah.
I'll say I'll throw another one out there that they actually did with Tim Meadows, where it was like the Shirtless Bibleman sketch. I don't know if you're familiar with that one, where they just like it was like Will and Tim talking to Julianne Moore, and they just like say these crazy things while again being shirtless and selling Bibles. Like, oh hey, like we have this Bible. Do you want it? No. Okay, what if we put gold in it? Sure. Okay, take the gold out. Do you still want the Bible? No. They just kind of say that back and forth, and it's really great. And yeah, he's one of a kind.
Yeah, he is very special. He is very special. So I also noticed, I believe, if I'm looking at this correctly, this is our first movie that we've done with only one SNL cast member. Because remember, first one we did had, I think, 7. And then the second, obviously, 2. And then surprisingly, the third also had 2 because Chris was in Boomerang. But yeah, this is the only one that's a lone one person. What do you think of that?
Oh yeah, it's very interesting. And for some reason, I could have sworn someone else was in someone else.
I did at some point too. I thought I saw it, but no, it doesn't look like it.
Yeah, and while we're here, let's discuss our cast. So we have Will Ferrell as a Harold Crick, an IRS agent who starts hearing Eiphel's voice narrate his life, and Eifel is played by the talented Emma Thompson, who the other day I found out actually did a sketch comedy show with SNL alum Gail Mathias called Assault and Nuts.
Really? I never knew that.
Yeah.
I thought she was more dramatic as well.
Yeah, and also that show had Wayne Knight in it, and in addition to all of that, she was, I believe, like a brief player on I don't know if you ever heard of A Bit of Fry and Laurie with Hugh Laurie and Stephen Fry. The British sketch show she did. Well, they did it, but like again, she was a supporting player there. And also, we have the first film I have ever seen Maggie Gyllenhaal in.
Now, this was something interesting to me because I was more familiar with Maggie Gyllenhaal. She's never played someone like this to me. I saw her, I believe it was in Tehran. She was a very serious, like I think she was a United States character in the Middle East. It was a lot going on. And then obviously her very dramatic role in Batman. She was in the second one, The Dark Knight. But I never knew she had this in her. This was a fun role to see her in because I never see her in this kind of stuff. Definitely it felt like it was his first time meeting a character like that in his life.
Yeah,
Probably
sure.
not
And
an IRS.
and she was great in this movie for sure. And she plays Anna Pascal, a baker who is audited by Harold,
Yes.
Will Ferrell's character, and then they fall in love. We also have Dustin Hoffman in this as the Professor Jules Hilbert, a literary expert who gives advice to Harold. The one and only Queen Latifah, former
In
SNL
a kind of a small role, but it works.
Yeah, as a Penny Escher who assists Emma Thompson's character, Karen Eiffel. And we kind of have small roles here from Tony Hale, Tom Hulse.
Tony Hale is another one I noticed. He's a very, very big TV actor.
Yeah.
All over a lot of stuff
Yeah.
on top. He's on Veep with Julie.
Oh, yeah, I was about to say, was he in Veep? Yeah.
I think he's in a few other things. He's got a big, wide comedy TV sitcom and stuff like that type of history. I didn't expect to see him in this movie, but yeah.
Yeah, and our final two names here are Linda Hunt, I believe, just another psychologist. Psychologist, that's a mouthful of a name. that Critic goes to, and just a very, very, very tiny role for Kristen Chenoweth as a.
I noticed she's not even technically in this movie.
Yeah.
She's just a reporter on the TV within this.
Yeah, but the main stars here are Will Ferrell, Maggie Gyllenhaal, Dustin Hoffman, Queen Latifah, and Emma Thompson. So yeah,
Yes.
a lot of people are just like there. I'm just looking at what Wikipedia says.
Yeah, background characters.
Yeah. So you ready to get into it?
Yeah, you're gonna read the synopsis for this one?
Yep, I got it. Harold Crick, played by Will Ferrell, is an auditor for the Internal Revenue Service, living his entire life based on the timing of his wristwatch, which I really like that detail that he's so I guess on the low that he relies on his wristwatch, which is a very cool wristwatch. If for some reason, and this might sound like an insult with this genuine compliment, it kind of reminds me of the wristwatches that Spy Kids had. Maybe just because it lights up very.
I never thought of it. Sure does kind of look like the spot.
Yeah.
I never put those two connections together until you.
Yeah, especially since there's number graphics that show, which they did a lot with Spy Kids, and that was always my favorite part of it. And so yeah, he is given a job to audit tax delinquent baker Anna Pascal, to whom he is awkwardly attracted to on the same day, and then he begins hearing the voice of a woman that is honestly narrating events in his life, but he is unable to communicate with the voice. So
yeah, there was a lot going on here. So I put very meticulous man. Very meticulous man, has a lot of numbers in his head. He's very exact, very precise, which then got to my second note, which is apparently he's really good at math. And I wanted this to be used more in the movie. When I saw it at first, I marked it. I was like, he's good at math. How much is this going to come up? Is he going to be? Is it I think of GTA 5? Trevor's mentioned to be really good at math. In the final heist, he gets to say something really quick math about all the gold if you pick that ending. And it's throughout the story. And I thought he would do something more with this. Not really. Kind of underrated use of a skill. A skill, not a superpower.
Yeah, that's definitely fair. I feel like they kind of just had that in there as a detail of all the various things this guy that I don't even want to say OCD, but all these unique things that contribute to him are a part of that I really that I liked, because it shows that he's not your everyday man and doesn't try to be unique, at least at this point of the movie. And it made me really feel it really reminded me of myself in this character in a way, because I'm kind of like that as well. I'm not really ever like counting various things, or I'm not like the craziest wizard of math. But yeah, it just showed all the different things that I liked about him as a character.
Yeah. I also said, so he acknowledges the narrator. Is he going to hear her the whole time? Not only does he hear her the whole time, it gets pretty personal later, but we'll obviously get to that. And then I do think figuring out that he was in the story during the teeth, because it said at first, when he brushes his teeth, he does it like down to the exact science, the exact second. I feel like acknowledging the narrator was obviously changing that time routine, which is what made him late, which is what started to change his life in the first place.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I really admired of how, because something I'm so like because I'm so used to watching like modern movies where they kind of start off just like normal, like living their everyday life for like the first like 10-15 minutes, but like around like 6 minutes in, they immediately dress it. And
that is true. Yeah, usually in most movies they would wait till the end or the middle. They hit you with this so early, and it's like, I think it's like the second day of the movie. He's realizing it's like, wow.
I believe she's recapping like the first day, and then the second day he like suddenly notices it. And also, there's like one scene where he's like talking to all the coworkers, and as you mentioned, he mentions like they mentioned like how like great he is at math. And at one point, were the two guys from the Sonic commercials like his two of his coworkers? Like, I don't know if you noticed that.
My God, that's where I saw that guy from.
Yeah, I was like,
I thought that was a TV actor, but no, these are the old Sonic guys.
Yeah,
the old, like, I haven't seen those Sonic guys since 2017, maybe.
Yeah, it's been a while.
But yeah, those were those guys.
Yeah, long enough that if I looked at it now, I'd probably get nostalgic for those commercials.
Yeah, I forgot. I really thought that I knew him from TV, but I didn't think it was commercials until you said that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and, man, those were the coworker guys. They didn't get to do much in this, but they were in there, yeah.
So now, on his way home, Harold's watch stops working, and then he resets it using the time given by a bystander. And the voice narrates, "Little do you know that this simple, seemingly innocuous act will result in his imminent death," which gets great Will Ferrell screaming reactions because of it. And
what do you mean, my imminent death? Yeah. What?
Like, hey! And word over this prediction, Harold turns to a psychiatrist, Linda Hunt, who attributes the voice to schizophrenia, which for the longest time I always heard but never knew what it was. And out of nowhere, I kind of found out what it was from, and forgive me, a Dhar video. I don't know if you ever heard of Dhar Mann, but like he did a video of schizophrenia, and I eventually knew what it was. But yeah, and then it says though they also consider that if it is not schizophrenia, there really is a narrator. He should then visit an expert in literature. Crick visits Jules, Dustin Hoffman, and a university literature professor, and relates his story. And Jules first comes to the same conclusion as the psychiatrist, as Harold's dull life is not something commonly seen in novels. However, Jules then recognizes aspects of a literature work in Harold's story, little did he know, and encourages him to help identify the author first by determining if the work is a comedy or a tragedy. So what do you think of this scene here? Or these multiple scenes here?
It's interesting. First of all, it's interesting that she would even suggest that, to be like, you need to go to a to a literary expert from a doctor, and it's like,
yeah,
I don't know if anyone would actually recommend something like that, or even know a literary expert to recommend him to. I mean, I guess because there's a lot of intellectuals who work at schools and stuff like this, and he was like, and this was all acknowledged to I guess another professor. Also, no, we'll get to it later. But yeah.
One thing I want to say is that like right after like that whole thing, we end up meeting the narrator, because the first like 12 minutes we just hear, we don't see her, and of course, and we end up seeing that she ends up being a burnt out novelist, and this kind of like is set up to be like her most important novel ever, and she's like really struggling to find out how to unfortunately kill Harold, and yeah, she like leads to a bunch of things, and I like how she kind of has this very depression side
Yeah,
of
she
her.
has some really dark ideals, man. Like we
Yeah,
first
she
see
she
her
has
like about to commit suicide, and then it looks to be
yeah
fake, and it's like she's it's kind of weird. But
yeah
as for
that kind of
Jules,
happens and that kind of happens twice in it, because later on we see
no,
her.
we see her doing it this time, and then the other times it's
Oh
someone
yeah.
else having it.
Oh right.
Yeah,
And
but we see
another thing I
this
thought
time.
was
Mhm.
oh, I was gonna say another thing I thought was interesting. If I feel like the kind of shows like how British she is. If she then asks, hold on, no, let me try to. Oh, she has a Queen Latifah. Like, have you ever leaped off a building? And I kind of thought it was interesting how she said leap instead of jump, and because I feel like that line is always like jump off a building, but she says leap, which like it just kind of amused me, even though I feel like it was supposed to be.
Maybe, but yeah, as we get to this guy, he he's a complicated character. I ended up not liking him in the end, but at the beginning, it's like clearly he has some sort of thoughts about all of this. He's basically like, you're a boring character. And I was agreeing. He's like, he's a boring character. I don't know how you could sell books with this character in mind. Like, I didn't understand why any of this would even come up. Like, who's selling a book with an IRS agent, boring guy? And oh, another thing,
Yeah.
I liked, was it here or was it after when he said, were you married or divorced? And he said, I was engaged to an auditor, and then she divorced me for an actuary or something
That's
like that.
that's before, yeah, when he starts to be oh no, actually no, it's here, yeah, when he starts to
Yeah, I
meet
like
girls,
that
and he's
they
at.
are all government nerds.
And I
I
also
think this
really
way
like
that that's how that the whole thing worked. Yeah. But yeah, it just felt like he was right. And then his
mhm.
ears perk up at just literally one thing. Little did he know. And it's like, wow, you really just flipped the whole script for one saying, dog? It's like, I don't understand. It's like, he's like, this nigga's still boring, but little did he know changes everything. It feels very weird. I mean, unless he's like such a specific professor of that particular phrasing, but it's like, yeah, it's really weird. I also noticed this character is always watching author interviews on TV, like on the news. Like that's all he's ever watching, and it's like, okay, that makes sense for a literary expert, but still feels a little weird. I don't know.
live,
What
live a
do you think of
little,
that?
live a little. uh I think it is actually kind of nice, to be honest. I feel it really showed. I feel like that was kind of the final point to show like this guy is like really special, and it just shows like how like again interesting of a man he is, and how both like intelligent, but he's boring, but he's bland, but he's kind of intriguing. He's like a bunch of different things that uh makes you like kind of question who he is, but also makes you want to stick for more.
Yeah, now that I'm thinking, he is sort of a mysterious character. We don't get to know so much about him except for what his morals are at the end.
Right.
Yeah.
And yeah, I also want to just point out that I really liked Dustin's portrayal as Jules. I Because like as soon as they meet, he immediately kind of snaps in, like asking him a bunch of very quick questions where he kind of gives like one or two word responses. And again, I feel that kind of shows how, I guess you could say, subtly introverted he is. Just like,
Hmm.
oh, like yes, no, yes, maybe, I don't know. And yeah, and he kind of has like tough questions where he generally doesn't know, but Jules is like kind of forcing Harold to get these answers. And again, I think it's really
He's
interesting.
also
And,
noticing things that Harold won't admit to. Like he's like, so you were
yeah,
counting tiles, and he was like, "No, I wasn't counting tiles. Would you count the stairs?" Well,
yeah,
I wasn't counting the stairs.
yeah. I guess he kind of already knows that he's secretly like in math whiz,
Mhm.
or maybe he already told him. Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, it's interesting. And I wanted to say something else, which he starts to realize here. So if Harold exists as a character in a book, technically, this is the opposite of Will Ferrell's character in Barbie, where he is the CEO of the fictional Mattel franchise that does the thing, and she's the fictional character, and he's the real person that's over the fictional character. And now this has flipped the script. And then also later, you notice this isn't even the first time that Will Ferrell has been on one of those sides of something, because that also is what happens in the Lego movie. He is the
You're
controlling
right.
entity that is over the fictional characters. And now it's like, having seen both of those two movies before this movie, it's like, oh, now the script has flipped. Now he is the fictional character inside of someone else's controlling story that is also a story within this overall movie. And it's always movies, it never happens in TV.
Yeah, I have
I
not
just,
seen the Barbie movie,
yeah,
and I kind of wish I did, especially since I know another former SNL cast member that isn't Kate McKinnon, Lauren Holt appears. Justice
right.
for her, I always say. But I have seen Lego movie, and Will Ferrell is great in that. And
Yes, Will
yeah,
Ferrell is the Emma Thompson, is the Karen of this
oh yeah,
movie,
yeah, yeah,
except the only difference is, well, technically he is in that movie with a, I don't, it's a
it's a
real
lot.
mind fuck when you think about it. But yes, he's been on both sides of this in 3 different movies. And
Yeah.
I don't know how he keeps getting into those types of scenarios. I don't know any actor in or out of SNL that's ever had 3 movies of that type.
That's what this podcast is for. We can start digging.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to start, because that's a really
Yeah.
crazy coincidence.
Who knows, maybe we can make that a series, like a summer series, like just this interesting.
That wouldn't be a long series. I'm telling you. I don't know anybody else that has been in that scenario 3 times. I can barely think of any that's even been in it once. Because, like, wow.
And before we get to the next scene, I just want to also point out that he returns to Miss Pascal's bakery, and I really love the other patrons there. We got like a guy.
Yeah, I had a lot to
And
say about this, actually.
oh, I was just saying, and I really love the patrons there, like the guy with the very, very what 80s rock hair,
The
and
Mohawk, yeah.
the mohawk, yeah, and the one crazy guy who seems to be like look like he's about to kill you, but end up being, I feel like, sort of sweet the second time he comes. And he I think he has like audit her taxes, and she just has them in a big box. And maybe you can help me here when I say, like,
Well, we're
was that-
skipping over a lot of stuff, because that's the second time he visits. So,
Oh,
okay.
okay.
So the first time I'm like, first of all, like I said, usually very serious, very kind of reserved,
Mhm.
quiet. I never seen Maggie Gyllenhaal in this type of role. I kind of didn't know that she could do this, because I've never seen her do anything like this before.
Mhm.
But then what she's talking about is very serious, very relevant, I would say. Because I just saw, are you familiar with Subway Takes
I am not, no.
with Kareem Rama?
No idea, fortunately.
Okay, so the guy is on TikTok and Instagram. He goes on the thing and he basically asks people, so what's your take? And people can just say something that they feel about society, good, bad, indifferent, whatever. So someone was just saying that they're like, tax distribution, I'm fine with fixing the roads. I'm fine with giving money to schools so kids don't have to pay for school. But what I don't like is when my tax dollars go to like war, or like police brutality, or like redlining and things like that. She said that in this thing, and I was like, dude, it was like 2 days ago, 2 or 3 days ago, that someone was saying the same thing. And I'm like, oh, this is a very specific type of like liberal person. I've met a few
Yeah.
people like this doing improv. I see it. I don't think he had ever met anyone like this. You know,
For
because
sure.
working
Yeah,
in the IRS, it's obviously like pro-government, or at least you ignore everything that you may feel for the better of the job. This is like a real, like fire starter person.
yeah, and I was just about to ask you, like, what this do you think this character will be woke in now 2026? Which the answer is absolutely.
Of course. Of course. This is the point.
Yeah.
This is still everything she's saying is still really relevant, you know? I'm sure
Yeah.
this is the same person that would be like, you shouldn't, because all of this stuff is kind of evergreen. Like you could take this back to probably when before Will Ferrell was born, they'd be like, I wish my money didn't go towards the Vietnam War. I wish it didn't go to World War II and all that stuff. Because that's real stuff. And it's like, and this is another reason why people gets into the whole aura of his entire character, why people don't like the IRS, because it's like you can send agents out here to get money from bakers who are just, you know, feeding the community, but you can't send people to help like poor kids in the ghetto. You can't send people to like stop these food deserts from running out of food. And I see
Yeah.
her point, you know?
Yeah, in a way, I feel like her character, as well as probably most of this movie in general,
A lot
makes
of
it feel
people don't like the
timeless.
IRS for those type of reasons. Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like all of that kind of makes this movie timeless in a way, which I think is the part I appreciate the most about it.
Oh, yes.
So
Yes.
yeah,
Like you could spend,
and
I don't know when the IRS was created, but you could easily spin this back to like people in the Great Depression feeling the same way.
oh, for sure, for sure. And yeah, before we go into the next stuff this here, help me here. Was there a particular reason why he had to do them at her bakery, or did she like request that, or I don't
Well, when
remember.
you go, well, I don't know exactly how it works, but I believe when you audit someone, you do have to physically go there.
Oh, okay,
Especially at this
gotcha.
time in 2006. Like, yes, technology was up to par where you could have gotten the digital stuff, but you would have to go there to actually see how they're keeping the books. Or I don't think you can just send it to them or hand them a flash drive or whatever. You got to go there and see how things are actually running for real. And I think that's
Yeah.
still that way till this day.
Yeah, totally. So you go into the next part here. As Harold proceeds to audit Anna, the two begin to fall in love. And when Harold refuses to accept cookies that Anna made for him on the grounds that they could
I
be
was
viewed
saying
as a
he is very
bribe,
by
yeah,
the book for that. Yeah.
yeah, and I think that's another thing that really shows his character. Like, oh, like why are you being so hesitant to eat a cookie?
Yeah.
But yeah, let me try to go through the rest here. Let me try to find where I was. Okay, yeah, and then Anna angrily tells him to leave, making Harold believe the story is a tragedy. On the advice of Jules, Harold spends the next day at home to try to not control his
Oh,
own destiny.
yeah.
And yeah, Jules tells him to
Wait,
like, not
let's
do anything.
let's stay on that scene for a second,
Oh
because the
yeah,
next
yeah,
scene
go ahead, go.
I have a lot to say on. But in this scene, I kind of feel like she was falling for him too fast.
Yeah, yeah.
That
Ooh,
was
oh.
like, you're literally trying to take money from me and my business. And really someone who thinks like that would be like, you're taking money from our whole community over here. And I'm just gonna crush on you. I don't see it. I just don't see it. It feels at this point in the story, I was thinking that she was also, because at this point in the story, I'm thinking, well, every character in this book is a character created by Karen. And the only reason that I could justify this is like,
Yeah.
oh, this character is written this way because she's written as a plot device to help move the story along for him. And then I find out
Oh
that,
yeah,
no,
yeah.
she's only writing him. And it's like, I don't think this works. I don't think this is how you treat people who are trying to take money from you, especially if you believe they're doing it in the wrong. Anyways, I
But yeah,
just
that's
don't
fair.
see
That's
it,
fair, yeah.
you know?
Yeah, that's fair. I on the other hand think it kind of shows kind of like she's kind of approaches like this like ultimate like badass in a way, but I feel this shows like a very sweet side of her that I
That's
personally
another
really
thing that's
like.
interesting. It's like she rejects the principle of what he does, which is why she does put all the taxes in the box, which is why she does, like, as she said, make it really hard on him. She rejects the institution, but not the person. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. And so yeah,
So yeah, we get to the next scene where he's sitting in the apartment and Jules
Yeah.
tells him that the plot needs to come to him.
right. And finishing this synopsis here. So yeah, the next day at home he has spent the day by himself at home to try to control his own destiny and to stop the plot, as you just said, and by doing absolutely nothing and absolutely nothing. Like he just sits there on his couch and in a blanket watching sort of, I guess, like a nature show, and it seems like he wants to change the channel at first, but he goes, "Oh wait, that's me doing something." So he's just like forced to watch it, and he seems like kind of into it. Like he sees like I believe like there's monkeys there, and I think a giraffe and some
Yeah,
penguins.
he's watching a lot of animal documentary stuff.
Yeah,
Which, by the way, that third one, it gets like really aggressive. It's like the sheep doesn't even know that it's gonna get eaten by the rhino. Like which
Yeah.
extreme? I didn't know X Games could narrate an animal documentary. It's like, what the hell?
yeah, and so yeah, he's basically just like enjoying himself until out of nowhere a crane suddenly bursts through
Huge red.
his entire apartment.
Not. This is no. This huge problems. Huge problems.
Yeah.
Here. Huge problems.
Yeah.
Here. Huge
That's
problems.
another.
Here. Like, first of all, also I noticed that he peed into a cup when he could have just went to the bathroom. I didn't like that.
Oh,
yeah. Well, just go to the bathroom. I mean, you got to do nothing, but not nothing. Damn. Anyways, this construction company way out of pocket for this. First of all, they got the wrong building that they were supposed to be demolishing. Second of all, you could have killed me. Third of all, I don't think the landlord even told him that there was supposed to be construction that day, or whoever the landlord puts their duties down to tell the renters that something is happening on the property. There's so many problems with this. Like, I'm suing everybody. I'm not paying for rent. You're supposed to withhold rent if your stove doesn't work. You mean to tell me they took out 2 of his walls and the windows, and that you probably got to replace all sorts of stuff you had, if any paintings from your family, the TV, the rugs probably messed up. This is unacceptable.
And that's a couple, like a good $1 million there, or maybe not so much, or.
Well, I also noticed something. So I think this is supposed to take place in Chicago, right? In Chicago, it's already pretty.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it's already pretty expensive in Chicago, so this would probably cost more depending on where he was. Like if he's in like Evanston or something, it might be cheaper. If he's like in Chicago City, that's really expensive real estate, really expensive everything to get put together. Probably got to have like a bunch of huge Cook County permits and stuff like that. Yeah, it's going to be a complete nightmare to try to fix this logistically. Everyone on that construction team should get fired. Whoever told them that was the right apartment is in trouble. Because again, this is Chicago. They probably have a lot of high logistical things. It probably is a nightmare to even get something torn down anyways. You've got to go through all this red tape. So to get the wrong one, hell, you guys are in so much trouble.
Yeah, and this is another, like, I feel like at this point they really start to lean more on the drama than any comedy, and I thought this is a really good another classic Will Ferrell screaming here, and I like the guy's reaction after he realizes, oh, whoops, and which, like, honestly, someone said that to me, that's where I'm fuming. Like, what do you mean whoops? After all that, oh no, like, absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Yeah, this, and then also, I'm just thinking about this now. What happened to the other renters? Are they just not there? Are they going to come home? Were they there and they didn't know? Or are they going to come home and be like, what the hell happened to the apartment above me or to the side of me?
Yeah, it's a lot of questions here that just
Yeah.
it's just something.
Yeah, so
Um,
many problems.
so yeah, after he sees this, he kind of goes to Jules and then tells him like he can no Jules, sorry, Jules believes that Harold cannot control the plot and that has set for him, and he should accept that he will die and enjoy whatever time he has left to the fullest, which leaves Harold very rightfully confused of like after all this now he's just saying like screw it, just live your life until you die. Like I know like and yeah, and it's an interesting turning point for the movie. But what you think here?
Yeah, I believe this is when he starts to get the guitar and things like that. He starts to really living his life, having the
Yeah,
type of fun he's always wanted to have.
he's not doing the things he did in the past, like counting like steps and counting the brush strokes and
Yeah, he's
all the other
putting on his
things.
tie the way he wants to do it now instead of trying to
Right?
save
Yeah,
time.
he's letting loose. Yeah.
Hmm. Well, letting loose in the way that this guy
Yeah,
because to a lot of people, you're barely scraping the surface of what letting loose is.
I really like this because again, he's like trying to be like a new version of himself, even if like to the average person this should just be like you just being human, but like for him again, it's like a nice way
He's
to
still
turn.
kind of a robot, but he's trying to let loose.
Yeah, and also because of the destruction of his apartment, he's now living with Tony
Dave.
Hale's character,
Yeah.
Dave. Yep, yeah, and I really like the one scene where they like have dinner and they're talking about like, oh hey, like what would you do if hold on, I'm trying to figure it out. Oh, okay. What would you do if you were the richest man in the world? And at least
Oh, yeah, I did like this conversation. It was silly because he was refusing to ground it in reality.
yeah, he has like if he
He
has
was
like
like, "Well, what if
superpower, like
it was you? Well, what do I have? Superpowers? Am I the richest
like
man in the world? Well, no, it's you. Okay, but do I have superpowers? You said it was hypothetical. I like
yeah, and then
to have fun with that.
yeah, and then he reveals like he wants to go to he's going if he did it he wants to go to space camp, which
Yeah.
something I don't like. It's been a minute since I heard anything about like space camp because one show that I grew up with I'm not sure if you ever heard of, which is called Fetch with Rough Ruffman, and
No,
they
I've never heard
actually
of that.
yeah it was a PBS Kids Go show, and they went to space camp quite often, and I remember also Double Dare had that as like a grand prize for a lot of their episodes. So it's basically what I'm trying to say. Like it's been
I think
minutes
I
since I even
remember
heard
Double
the
Dare a
term.
little bit.
Yeah, but basically what I'm trying to say, like, it's been a minute since I heard the term. Well, not even the term, but like heard of space camp and anything. So, yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I guess it's a fun little wrinkle to his character, keeps him from being boring.
yeah, and it makes him, it makes a Dave at least like shows how like
Yeah,
goofy
it
and
gives
laid
Dave a
back he
little bit,
is.
the slightest bit of spice to what is otherwise a bland
Yeah.
character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Let's see what's the next part here. Okay. So then, Karen, who has been appearing throughout this movie in like a parallel story, has been struggling with fresh. Wait on.
But
Tell me
no.
if
You
can-
got to remember, he finds out who Karen is
Okay,
at some
yeah,
point
yeah.
because he goes back to work. Surprise! He's been off for like a few days. He goes back to work, just storms in there without talking to anybody. Just beelines like, I'm gonna find who this is.
Yeah,
He's not talking to anyone, acknowledging him. He doesn't do the math problem. He goes and finds her, which, because Jules pointed it out. Like, also, I don't know. I don't know the politics of that part. But yeah, Jules points it out that it's this author who did this to you. And it's like, okay, now he finds her with the help of the thing, and he brings it back and it's like, it's this person. And it's like, this person. It can't be that person. It had to be these 7 authors because this person always kills her protagonist. So that's when he really starts to be like, well, now you're really going to die.
right. And just like real quickly, the scene before this, Harold and Anna like kind of read. Actually, like he brings him like flowers, which I liked. And,
I liked that. That was clever.
Yeah,
I brought
and
you flowers because you're a
yeah,
baker.
yeah, and then she he notices she has a guitar and says, "Oh," and she said, "Oh, like, do you play guitar?" Like, "Oh, I do." "Oh, do you know any songs?" "Oh, I know one." "Oh, play it." And she again, like how she did with the cookies, she like forces him to do it until she does it, and she's absolutely memorized by him singing and some generally good Will Ferrell singing here, I would say too. And until
I
they
know he
end
could
up,
sing, but I just didn't
yeah,
know he could dramatically act this good.
yeah, and basically they hook up and it makes him like realize, oh, maybe he's in a comedy because he's like falling in love. Okay, and then he sees Karen Eiffel on TV, and he now
He
makes it his
recognizes,
rightful
and that's why
mission.
he's able to look her up at work, right? That's how that goes. Yeah.
Yeah, and he now makes it his rightful mission to understand or to get her, and
Well,
even
because
though
yeah, in his mind, he is saving his life. He's like, I have to
right,
contact the
right,
person who may
yeah, that's what
write
I says.
me into an early grave.
Yeah, or possibly like as he tries to do later on, like to change the story.
Right.
Um, and yeah.
So it's at this point he goes up to the office, right? Or no?
So yeah, then after all that, he goes to the office and has an encounter with the what's it called? What's that girl called? When someone's like standing there, like, oh, how can I help you? What's it called?
The what?
The lady, what he like runs to her, and it's just her and Harold. Like, what's that lady called? When they're like, oh, how can I help you? And they get questions.
Oh, the receptionist. Yeah.
There
The
was yeah,
secretary,
thank
yeah.
you. Yeah, the receptionist, and they had kind of an interesting back and forth, and then we cut back because something I should have mentioned is that uh Karen and Penny are having their own scenes with their, and it's funny because like the first time I
Yeah,
watched
they
this
keep
movie,
going to watch deaths, and they watch
yeah,
deaths or they
yeah,
make them up in their head. It's really weird. I don't know what to do with it's like
and it's interesting
kind of a
because like
sickly thing that she does that.
it's interesting because like the first
Especially when
time
they
like
go to the ICU. It's like,
mhm.
oh, you want to see this?
Yeah,
Like, I
yeah,
understand you want to take inspiration from real life. This is too real of life. I mean,
mhm.
I think it ignores the gravity of death. I also think it ignores the trauma that goes around it. Cause like, if you see someone in there with their family, you're like watching people mourn. You're like watching children lose their parents, parents lose their children. It's like, this is really dark. You shouldn't try to see this. There's a reason that that's only for the hospital.
Yeah, but and I think it really also like shows her character. But
Yeah,
what I was gonna say is like Karen and Penny, like in addition to seeing people die, they kind of like, go back to their office to really try to figure out like how she can like really make Harold die in this movie.
right. And then as
And
she's typing, she finds
yeah,
out that, oh no, this is like really real. And it's
mhm.
at this point, I'm like, what did I say? I believe I was said Karen has to be one of the most powerful writers in the world if this is a real person. Like
Oh,
she
for
is
sure.
this is a level of power that I don't think anyone would have. Because I also
Oh,
write stuff.
mhm.
I like to write fiction. I like to write comedy stuff. That's why I'm an improv trying to, get towards all that stuff. I wouldn't want to
Hell
have this
yeah.
power. This is messed up, like I said. And this is scary to even think that they could ever meet each other because it's like that's
Right.
way too much to think about with all that a writer puts its characters through. And then to know that every problem that's ever happened in your life was done by someone who was typing or using a pen, that's so scary. And
Yeah.
then it gets to
Mhm.
her on a deeper level because
Right. When
she's
she meets
written
him, yeah.
multiple stories like this. She's like, how many people have I killed?
Yeah, it like really like surprises her and
Oh, it would crush you. You'd feel so guilty for doing something like
yeah.
that.
Oh, yeah, like, oh, I didn't know he was real and all this happening. Like, I go, wow. Because, like, oh, I just thought it was like a simple, like, offer. I didn't know this like a real human being, but like, wow. And, yeah, also, I feel also great. I'm not too familiar with Emma Thompson's films. I don't know if you are, but really
I
great.
know
Emma
him, but I
Thompson.
can't name him off the top of my head. I know she's
But
been in
yeah,
a few things that I've seen.
Yeah. Also, I should mention also Hostess and hosted a really good episode too.
It was a few
But
years ago, wasn't it?
yeah,
About that other
2019.
British actress.
Yeah, 2019. Yeah.
Right.
What was I say? Oh yeah, but like really a great acting from Emma here when she kind of goes into a panic and into another scene later on that we'll get into in a sec.
Mhm.
And so yeah, then after Harold finds Eiffel, he goes back to Jules and
No. I think when he finds Eiffel is very important because I
oh
believe
yeah,
this is when we start to see some of his real serious acting, and also the scene with with what's with Pascal. He is really going into this. Like
he's committed.
like you see his sadness, you see his want to live. I didn't know that Will Ferrell had this in him.
Exactly, and
I really didn't.
and for me at least, it's the one of only two times I've ever seen Will Ferrell genuinely. Well, I guess like you can't really count it here because he's acting, but two times I've seen Will Ferrell genuinely cry, which was this as well as the documentary Will and Harper, which he genuinely cried of Harper's Tale, his good friend, a former SNL writer.
Yep.
And I definitely recommend all of our listeners check that out. It's a really beautiful documentary.
Yeah.
And so yeah, like he like oh yeah, something about Jules though should mention like he is a swim teacher. And
Yeah, okay, that's another thing. I'm like, hold
go
on,
ahead,
wait.
go ahead.
I know this is a lot for me because I know Chicago is expensive, but you are a professor at what I would have to imagine is a well-regarded college institution, and you still have to have a side hustle as a lifeguard. What the hell is going on? What is his financial situation? I mean, his rent or his mortgage must be like 6,000 a month. Why does he even need all this? And I thought college professors made a lot of money. I mean, I know teachers are kind of down bad. I thought professors made enough to not have to have a side hustle, especially as a lifeguard. You would think he'd have a side hustle doing something that's academic, like he tutors high school kids, or he teaches night school, or he does something like that. This is a completely different field from what he does, and I'm like, I just don't even know how he got into this. Also, at one point he's walking through the locker room in a more comedic movie. This was sillier, but yeah, there was a lot of undressed men in there.
Yeah, I feel like this was I feel like this was a movie that leaned
If this was a more
heavy on the comedy.
Yeah,
they would have had a whole scene of him like showering with the naked man.
yeah, it would have been a lot more graphic.
Yeah,
but man, I'm just like, I mean, I understand some people need side hustles. It's important, people gotta pay for what they gotta pay for, but this is not like, you know what it makes me think of? It makes me think of American Fiction. Because in American Fiction, being a professor is his side hustle to him being an author. This guy is a professor and his side hustle is being a lifeguard? What the hell is going on here?
Yeah, the only thing I could think of is maybe just to keep him occupied. So, and some people would be doing that.
I guess so.
But yeah, and we talked about comedy, but now we're gonna get into more of the tragedy here. As he goes to Jules in his office, and then Jules tells him the unfortunate part is, you have to die.
See, I didn't like that
something.
Part. That's fucked up, man.
Oh,
because I thought about this.
Yeah,
I looked at what Karen said to him. Because I was thinking about it. I'm like, this is a real moral dilemma here. This is a true moral dilemma that some people, let's be honest, in the real world would be like really struggling with, like, well, is this story good enough that I would kill a real human person? And I'm like, I would like, in a perfect world, most people would be like, hell no, of course not. But then I know that there are some people like Jules that would be like, well, for the good of the story, and it would do that. And then this is the darker part that they don't talk about. I know with some of the economic systems we have in this world, some people would be like, of course I'll kill him because that's how the book will sell more. But they don't get into stuff like that in this movie. But I mean, that would definitely come into it in a deeper movie. But still, the fact that there are definitely people that would do this, that's sickening. It's like, this is a real person. You can't do that. But then, of course, there's people like Jules. And also, Jules says he should die. He stands to benefit nothing from this. He's, other than being a fan of literary work, he stands to benefit nothing from this. He's not getting a dime from this book. And even if he was, he still shouldn't have done that. But when you add that in, it's like, oh, this is terrible.
Yeah, I will say, I feel because he is, he just kind of like says like, oh, sure. Because, and I feel because he is like that, I feel it's because he just doesn't really know like how to, I guess, compose himself too much, and that's why he just kind of accepts it because of the character that he is and the personality he brings. I feel it makes sense to me. Basically, what I'm saying is, I understand like how, oh, I tried so hard, but like I'm not the person who's like, I'm not ready to give up yet, and because he's like that, I can understand why he just be like, okay, if I have to do it to make, especially since he says this is, especially as Jules tells Harold that this is the most like important novel of her already successful career.
That's why I'm saying you should not sacrifice a real person because it's the most successful novel of someone else's career. You shouldn't sacrifice a real person for the best story in any way. Like, this is messed up.
Yeah, and you're making a lot of great points here, but
yeah. And then also, I feel like had he not been around, Harold would not have accepted his fate like that. He would have pushed back more. But because he told him that, basically he was like, you know what, you're right, I just gotta die. He basically like pushed him in. It's really dark. I don't like it.
But yeah, and again, you're making a lot of good points. But like, this scene mainly worked for me because of the acting and just because of the realization. Because yes, it is like very screwed up that it's happening.
Very good acting by both of them.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that, this is like some really. I thought this is the best acting here of like Will Ferrell, especially since like I can change him. Like literally, like he's not like of course bawling, but like he has like tears like in his eyes, and
yeah,
it made me feel for him
in this movie. Man. I really, it's so surprising to see someone go like that.
It just made me feel for him. So yeah, I thought that was interesting. And then after this, we see montage. See a montage of him on the bus where he's on the bus for probably for like the entire afternoon and
just preparing for
entire day.
His final day, preparing for and living his final day.
And this is kind of a perfect way for him to spend his final day, just like on the bus, just like looking at what is it like, just notes that he has.
He goes and hangs out with Pascal as well.
He's doing all the things that he is living for the last time. And it's very upsetting, but again, something about this I really admire. And then while he's with Pascal, he like tells her like what's happening, but also not tells her. And of course, like since he's not like so specific about it,
I feel like it might have been better to not worry her about this, but I don't know. Some people would be like, no, you should definitely tell her. Others would say you shouldn't. I feel like it might have been better to not say anything because, I mean, it's a new relationship. You don't want to freak her out too bad. But I don't know. Some people might feel differently.
Yeah, and I feel like I actually do, funny enough. But because I feel he like really, really loves her and he can really trust her and doesn't want to like, I guess, like ruin her, but like unexpected. I feel like he's gonna ruin her regardless. But I feel he thinks it's kind of a more like low key way of doing it, just by automatically telling her rather than it being a surprise, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess like, he does it to make her feel better, which I get, and I understand.
Yeah, and then we get to the final day. He brushes his teeth, he does all the things, and then he goes to work and just prepares to get what happens to him. And I thought it was interesting how this went down. So, yes, he does initially die. But I also thought about the trauma that this would do to the bus driver and also the bike riding child. Because even though
Yeah, and not to interrupt you for a sec, but like also I should point out that the bus rider and the child appear like very sporadically throughout the movie, and at first it actually kind of confused me, like why are we kind
that
of
did
these
confuse
two
me
random
too. I'm like,
people?
what are they doing here? We don't know their
Yeah,
names.
like,
What are they?
yeah.
I don't understand.
But then all culminates into this moment, which I think is actually kind of smart in a way.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, go
smart to
ahead.
drip them in throughout. It was pretty
Right.
vague when they did it, but they got it together. Yeah, but then he gets hit by the bus, saving this child. I think the trauma for them has got to be pretty wild. Like, obviously, when you're a child, you don't understand the weight of something like that, but it's still got to be freaky that you just saw this man get hit by a bus. Like, that level of violence affects anyone, even if you don't understand it because you're too young. And then that bus driver must feel so guilty, even though that it wasn't her fault. He jumped out in front of her to save the kid. You still feel terrible when something like that happens.
Yeah, and I will say this, like, because I feel like I really admire this movie so much, but I will say this is the one part of the movie that is kind of confusing because, again, like he literally says, "Oh, hey, you have to die," and he ends up dying. Which, by the way, I was kind of surprised he ended up dying like that when I first watched it. I don't really know how exactly he would die, but I'm surprised it happens from, again, a train or not a train, not a train,
bus,
a
yeah.
bus. Yeah.
No, if he got
bus,
hit by a train, there's
you
no way the ending. No, that wouldn't have happened. If you get hit by a train,
Yeah, if it was a train, the movie's just over. Like credits
No, there's
roll,
no way.
good night, everybody. Yeah, and then we cut to him now in a full cast with pretty much every single part of his body is in a cast, and I really like the doctor here. He's just explains everything he's doing or everything that happened, and he's like, "Oh wow, that was very brave, but very stupid."
Very
and
stupid,
tells him
very brave.
like,
Also, we
all
get to
things.
see Karen's side of this, where it's like, I couldn't do it. I couldn't,
Mhm.
and I'm glad that someone is a responsible adult here and knows that you're not supposed to sacrifice a real person for the good of the story. Okay.
Right.
She was like, I can't do it. I'd feel too guilty. We have to change the ending. And then she does what I feel is the right thing to do. But Jules is like, it's okay. It would have been a better story if you killed this real person. And it's like, no, you're sick in the head, man. That's not it.
And yeah, this movie kind of comes together. It was just like her recapping of like just like what this is and just like all the details that make it what it is. And I really like that because maybe just because like how Emma Thompson speaks, but I really appreciated just like this like recap of it all. And during one of the slow-mo scenes that they show, I really like just Will Ferrell just really jamming to that guitar. So that really made me smile. And that is Stranger Than Fiction.
One hell of a movie. And one more thing I wanted to say, it comes completely full circle because the thing that saved his life was, remember, a shard of glass from the watch.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, wow.
Very clever. Yeah, it all comes full circle. The watch was very important. It reminded me of another movie that we're going to end up doing one day, Click, where there's this one device that's very important throughout the whole movie. Not as important as the remote from Click, but still a very big deal. And it also said that, what was it? She said that 3 minutes off, 3 minutes earlier, his watch was always set to 3 minutes earlier because when he asked the guy for the time earlier, that would now be the time of his watch, and that's why he would be.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of those little details in this that I really appreciate, and I feel like that's probably the main reason why I've grown to really admire this movie in general.
Yeah, it's a very smart movie.
Yeah. Episode 4 now complete, and I hope you guys.
That was Stranger Than Fiction. I think. Okay. As we think about this was after Step Brothers. Was this before or after Talladega Nights? Because I'm trying to understand where this fits into Will's career and how it fits for his overall legacy
Yeah,
after SNL.
check here.
If I remember, which one was it?
So this year he did like the Curious George animated film, and then this was right before Talladega Nights, and then he did this, and then after that he did Blaze of Glory,
This was before Talladega Nights?
Yeah, he did that movie and then this movie in 2006, and then he did Blaze of Glory, Semi Pro, Step Brothers, which is a great movie.
Step Brothers comes after this. Okay, I had
right in 2008.
Okay, so before this, he has, right before this is Talladega Nights. Ron Burgundy.
Wedding Crashers.
Yeah, no, he's only in a little bit of Wedding Crashers. Not.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Yeah, Anchorman, Zoolander. So he does have a few things before this, but not so much.
Yeah, looking at it, it seems like the real popular movies he does after this are Step Brothers, The Other Guys, The Campaign. I think is pretty popular. I think.
Wait, which one?
The Campaign with Zach Galifianakis.
Oh my, bruh, I haven't thought about The Campaign in years.
And we definitely need to do
years. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we gotta check that out.
We definitely got
future episode.
Yeah,
but yeah, Blades of Glory and
100%.
Step Brothers come up after this. So this was actually pretty early, which is probably why he felt he could take a move like this.
Right.
Because this only comes up after Anchorman. Had he tried this after Blades of Glory and after Step Brothers, it would have been like, whoa, this is too crazy. Like, and also I think he starts creating this movie. Acting in this movie, creating this movie before Talladega Nights is all the way out. Had Talladega Nights been out completely and then he started doing this movie instead of kind of starting them around the same time, or that one just finished and he started that one, neither of them have released yet, it might have been different. But because he does this so early in his film career, I think he feels like, oh, I can make a gamble and go off and do a dramatic thing, because while I am known as the comedy sketch guy and I'm known as Anchorman, I'm not so far deep into my comedic career that it's like everyone will kind of see it how I saw it, where it's like unbelievable.
Yeah, and I wonder if he probably thought like this was like a great opportunity for maybe some future dramatic roles of him.
It might have been. It might have been. It did not look. It doesn't look like it turned out that way. But
yeah,
at
I
the
don't
time,
think
he
he
might
really
have
did
thought
any
that.
dramatic movies. Yeah, which is upsetting because I feel like he could have done great with them. Because I feel like
Yeah, look at some of the things with this. He kind of could have done more dramatic stuff. I didn't know that he had this in him.
Yeah, and especially since, as the people I mentioned earlier, like Robin Williams, Jim Carrey, they all did amazing after doing a bunch of comedic films and suddenly doing dramatic films. They suddenly got a few more afterwards, and they all did pretty great with them. So it's a shame Will didn't get any.
Yeah.
But that's the movie. I really liked it. I feel like it's an underrated classic, and definitely check it out. And our second consecutive movie of being free on YouTube. So yeah,
it was free on YouTube. Oh man, I went to TV to find it. Okay.
Yeah. So you have no excuse to not watch the movie.
You have no excuse. Yeah, it's free in multiple places. But yeah, really good movie. Definitely showed off his dramatic chops. And yeah, surprised that it was this early in his career that we're looking at it, because this comes before the huge hits of Step Brothers and Blades of Glory. Future episode.
And I also wonder if maybe they tried to get him to host SNL for this movie, because I could easily see, or maybe anyone from this movie, because I feel this is probably the right time to get maybe Maggie Gyllenhaal on the show, or Dustin Hoffman, because neither of them have hosted the show.
Did Maggie ever host? I think she did.
Maggie never hosted. Only Will
Jake hosted 3 times, but she never hosted once. Damn.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I thought this or maybe some other movies that Maggie did that I have to check out, probably been the right time to get her on. And I feel like she could have done well, because this 2006 like round with Kristen, Amy, and Maya were on. So I feel like she could have blended amazingly with any of them.
Easily, yeah. And it looks like Will hosted the year before this, but not. Yeah, it would have been the fall of 2006. He did not host at that time. He only hosted 3 years later in 2009.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, hope you enjoyed this. And
Yeah, Stranger Than
as
Fiction,
always,
pretty good movie, pretty thought-provoking movie.
yeah, one of the many great, I say, low key dramas from comedic actors in the 2000s
Yeah,
that I feel they kind of leaned heavily on throughout the decade, which I personally really admire.
yeah, yeah. I didn't expect. I had never heard of this before you said it, so it snuck under the radar.
And I remember seeing like too, like the comments on YouTube, like how the trailer, sometimes the trailers always show a lot, and people are like, "Oh, this trailer doesn't do it justice. This is really an amazing movie. You have to see this for yourself because this trailer is like a bunch of BS here. Like you gotta like watch the movie to really admire it." And I definitely agree because I feel the trailer does the movie fine, not neither good or bad. It really sets the tone without spoiling too much. But yeah,
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree. Right. But
so
yeah,
yeah,
that was Stranger Than Fiction. Glad you could be here for the episode with us.
yeah.
Like I said, you can find me at Oversimplified Productions on YouTube. If you're only listening to this, that's where you can find the video episodes of this podcast. Also, if we are still on TikTok, given the recent goings on, I am Lego Sports Ball, also known as Toxic Hoops Takes. I did join Upscrolled, which is all the same things, Lego Sports Ball, Toxic Hoops. That's my name on Upscrolled. And if you want to find me on Instagram, I'm at he_gentleman.
Yeah, great stuff. And as usual, you could check me out at I'm Alive 00000 on Instagram. I feel that's probably the best place to check me out as I get more more personal with my life on my Instagram. And you could check me out at I'm Alive 419 on Twitter. I mainly post about SNL, of course, as well as my other interests. And yeah, that's where I'm at. And I misunderstood while I was promoting me being on Cover Wars. Apparently, it's now recently because I said for our second episode that will be up, but now now it's out with our good friend AJ. So yeah, check that out. And also check me out on Saturday Night Network sometime. There for patron shows. And I'm gonna force Johnny one day to be part of those. You need to be a part of those.
And thanks for the shout out. This most recent on the Alexander Skarsgård hot take show. Yeah. One last thing.
Gotta let people know. Gotta let people know.
Yeah, gotta let the people know. Yeah. Hope any of them are here listening to this one, watching this one. One last thing I will say. I cannot guarantee that we will be bi-weekly, but I can guarantee we will always have at least 2 episodes out a month. That's
Right.
that's where we're at right now. I don't want
that's where
to
it's looking at.
under promise, but I think we can for sure get 2 out every month. Usually on a Friday, but maybe not, but almost always on a Friday.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, hope you enjoyed. Just tell your friends about it, and yeah.
Tell your friends, tell your enemies, tell your family, tell the people you see at the store.
Every single person you know.
If you see a roach on the ground, you better tell them about this podcast.
Yes, just tell
we will find you.
Bird, maybe just like to tell everybody about the Not Ready for Popcorn Players podcast.
That's right, and this has been another beautiful, wonderful episode of Not Ready for Popcorn Players. Have a good night.